Waiver Wire Week 4 is upon us, and man, was it a big week in Week 3. We are talking about everything you need to do to get prepared for Waiver Wire Week 4, talk about some highs and lows of the week, everything covered here as much as we can to talk about the madness that was Week 3. What's going on, Jim? Welcome to the show.
Hey, man, it was revenge of the old guys this week. I swear. It was like every old guy in the NFL had a monster week. I'm like, what the heck is going on? This is just I'm having a tough time comprehending it. So
it was a wild one. We're going to talk about the Miami Dolphins, a couple highlights there, a couple lowlights, some guys that crapped the bed a little bit, but mainly want to get you set to make sure you guys pick up the right people off Waiver Wire and avoid those one-week wonders. Before we do, guys, this is very important. Head on over to manscaped.com. Use code SHOWERLION20. Treat yourself to the site. In my hand, I've got the body buffer. Oh, this really works well on the body with the soap. Clean your body. Get in there. Clean those cells. The dirty body that you got. Dirty body. Hopefully it's clean after you're done here. And then the Manscaped Lawnmower here 4.0. Trim with confidence. Don't worry about nicks and cuts, guys. Amazing product. They've got underwear. They've got cologne. They've got deodorant. I've got the underwear in here. Very comfortable. I wear it all the time. The boxers. Guys, manscaped.com. The code you want to use is SHOWERLION20. Fall is upon us. Go treat yourself. The holiday season is around the corner. Go treat your friends. Go treat your spouse. Go treat anybody that likes these products. Manscaped.com. Amazing products. Manscaped.com. SHOWERLION20. Go treat yourself right now to anything on the site and save big time. Go do it. I've linked it below as well. All right, Jim, let's dive into this here. Waiver Wire Week 4. We're going to go over a list of guys here, but mainly we just want to talk a little bit about kind of the highs and lows, and man, was it a wild one. Devin Achane, we got to talk about him. 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. Him and Mostert go nuclear. They go absolutely berserk. I just don't see this continuing, and that also shows how bad Denver is. First and foremost, Denver, what do you got to say about this matchup? What is it, 70-20? Like, craziness. Absolutely.
Yeah, just a beatdown. It was a bad weekend for Colorado football teams because the Colorado Buffaloes also got blown out against Oregon on Saturday. So that's not fun to see. Achane for me is the pickup of the week. This is the guy, he got drafted a lot, but he didn't do anything in the first 2 weeks. I know he got dumped off onto a lot of waiver wires. Yeah. I don't even know what his current ownership percentage is, but dude had 18 attempts, plus 4 targets on Saturday, obviously made the most out of it. And in fact, I'm looking at the top 10 running backs year to date. Achane is like number 5 right now for just this week. That's really all he did at all this year, just this week. Crazy. He's the number 5 running back on the season right now. So, we talked about Achane for a while, all during the preseason. How this is an explosive offense. He's an explosive player. That he's a perfect fit for what they're doing in Miami. And yet somehow I have 0 shares of this guy. Every time I got up to the point where it's like, do I take Achane here or someone else? I always took someone else. So I don't have him on any of my teams. Do you have him on any of yours?
No, I don't. And that's the thing. Like a lot of, for years, Miami running backs have just never been predominantly standing out as fantasy running backs and really shining the way that they are right now. Like I said, this could be an anomaly type week. It could be just like, oh, they just had a big week. They played a bad defense, and other defenses are going to structure themselves to combat this assault that was this running assault that's overall assault, never mind just in the running game.
Right.
You saw the first play. It was like one of the first drives of the game. Straight to Tyreek Hill. The secondary was nowhere to be seen. Tyreek is pretty much their only offensive weapon when you look at the receiving game, or the primary one, and he was left wide open. Now, mind you, a lot of credit to him for creating that type of separation and getting open, but, you got to take a look at these guys and say, hey, what did they do here? Where did Denver go wrong, and adjust accordingly? And we've seen players that have anomaly weeks like this. We saw, Kamara, where he had like a 4 or 5 touchdown game a couple years ago. It's very rare, but it's enough of a stamp of approval to say, hey, this guy's worth a Waiver Wire Week 4 pickup. So definitely grab him if he's available. You definitely want to trade high if you got him. Maybe if you got him, address your positions and say, hey, I got a trade high on him, and maybe get a more secure running back and a wide receiver combo, because you could really leverage the hype, because people like to buy on recency, and now's a good time if you want to leverage him as well.
That is true. That is certainly an option. But this offense, they didn't have Jalen Waddle. And yet they were like as explosive as they've ever been. And that's how they run this offense. It's all big plays. And obviously Denver couldn't do anything to stop them on the ground. And that's why they got between the two of these guys, 6 rushing touchdowns or something along those lines, between him and Mostert. It's just absolutely insane. I was actually a little insulted though, because Tyreek Hill only scored 30 fantasy points. I'm like, how does he only get 30 when this team scores 70 points? I mean, I felt a little ripped off there.
Yeah, it's true. But listen to this. Let's talk about some other highlights here real quick. I really want to dive into here. Tank Dell. It's official, man. He has broken it. That's the guy you initially mentioned to me, but we were talking about him back in May. After I did some extensive research, I'm like, this guy is the real deal. And the value because again, I told you, why not stash him? Because you're potentially getting a wide receiver 1 on the team. And sure enough, he is now proving he is the wide receiver 1. That is an upset. Now, we did poorly on our guesstimation on, estimation and our hypothesis on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know what's going on there because when you look at this matchup, I mean, what an upset. You look at the Houston Texans on the road versus the on paper Jacksonville Jaguars who look really good on all sides of the ball, right? So what a weird game. 37-17 Texans, but Tank Dell a winner here.
Trevor Lawrence is shaping up to be one of the biggest disappointments on my roster. And here it is. It's it's a contract year. It's his second year in Doug Peterson's system. They added, they added an elite wide receiver and Ridley. They were great last year. As the back half of last year, they were one of the top offenses in the NFL. It's like everything was saying okay, this team's going to take this big step forward. They're going to be an offensive powerhouse this year, and it just hasn't happened. Trevor Lawrence is the QB 17 right now through 3 weeks. He has been an extreme disappointment, and of course that impacts Calvin Ridley too, who was good in week 1, but somehow has just not done anything the past 2 weeks. I don't know what's going on with this offense, but they gotta fix it. I mean, I have. There's no excuses as to why they're doing as poor as they're doing, especially against a team like Houston. So
yeah, and I look at this team, and I also look at Houston and CJ Stroud for a rookie quarterback doing pretty well. That's pretty impressive here with CJ Stroud as well. So it was a crazy game. I mean, we saw Tank Bigsby get a goal line carry there as well. Let's talk about other lowlights here, highlights. The New York Jets here. I want to mention this here. Craziness, absolute madness with Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson.
They can't do anything.
As soon as Aaron Rodgers went down, that was the end of their fantasy value.
Yeah.
And even Dalvin Cook. I mean, you saw that Dalvin Cook, as much as I dislike Dalvin Cook, I'm not a fan. It's like he did well on the Vikings. It's not, I don't think this is not a talent issue. When you look at a guy like Breece Hall, this is clearly an offensive coordination, a team issue, a quarterback, and this is how important
it's a Zach Wilson issue.
It is.
It's a Zach Wilson. They gotta trade for somebody else. I mean, Zach Wilson is just a complete failure as far as a quarterback goes. And I just figured once they went to him, they would go run first. All the time, just design a million different run plays, options, some play action, you throw in some screen passes, and they're just, it's just crappy quarterback play. He's just garbage, and it's just destroying everybody else on this team. Very, very disappointing, but not surprising. Are you surprised that they're bad with Zach Wilson?
No,
I'm not.
No. And it's weird because they were going for a potential Super Bowl team, right?
Right.
Contenders to nothing. I mean, and they got so much talent on that team. Garrett Wilson is so good. But it's just going to be shadowed by crappy quarterback play. So they need a solution here immediately, the Jets. And I don't think the coaching is bad. I think Salah's good. It looks like he motivates his team pretty well. I think he's a pretty determined coach. I don't think it's a Zach Wilson problem. I mean, all arrows are pointing there. So red flags. A couple other things I had some really good. Now, I'm not right on everything, right? I mean, I was bad on Najee. He looks terrible. I really want to highlight here the Chargers here and the Mike Williams injury. And I want to say that I told you so. Now, this is not a surprise that Mike Williams is down. And I just heard prior to us recording the show right now is that it might be a season-ending knee injury.
Really? I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, I just read that now. I think that, I don't know if the MRI confirmed it, but again, I'm going to check it as soon as we're done with the show. We record this very early, guys, the morning after, a Monday morning. So I want to say that it probably is. And then Palmer stepping up. I mean, Palmer sucked for years. Why aren't you utilizing your first overall pick? I mean, this is Quentin Johnson, the best player on our team. Keenan Allen is old as dirt. And he's an old man, but he's doing really well. Why? Because volume is king. If you pitch the same amount of volume to Quentin Johnson, he will look more explosive, he'll look more dynamic, but they're not doing it. It's the report. Mind you, everyone's ripping me saying, oh, you told me no Keenan Allen. Yes, I did, but I don't really care because I got Herbert in all my leagues. He scored me 33 points in one of my big leagues. So I'm still crushing it. Laporta, another guy that went off. Everyone was telling you, no one had Laporta. We remember this, Jim. I was like, you even were like saying, well, oh, Laporta, you know, like you like.
Yeah, rookie tight ends.
Yeah. But I told you, plug and play. So I nailed it with Laporta. We nailed it on Dell. We nailed it on Herbert. A couple lackluster guys, but those three guys alone just carried me this past week. And then again, we talk about Bijan not getting enough volume, using Algier a little bit more than we thought. Gibbs not getting the explosive run that he's supposed to be getting. They're using a bunch of body feeders with him. So there's a lot of moving parts here, guys. But again, we're going to get to waiver wire in a second. I just want to kind of highlight anything else you want to highlight with the highs and lows. I mean, we covered Denver, we covered Laporta. Anything else that kind of jumped out at you here, Jim, that we should talk about?
Well, like I said, it was revenge of the old guys this week in week 3, and you know, I like to. I just stay away from older players. You know, I don't like them, and yet somehow they're having these monster games. I don't know how long that can be maintained on these old bodies. You know, but you know, kudos to them. Great job, but we'll see if that can continue.
Yeah, so a couple other guys that did well. James Conner, 19 points, but he did get a touchdown. You know, there's a couple other guys that, you know, won't duplicate. Like Jerick McKinnon had a good week. You know, I don't see him continuing it like that, you know. So
yeah, he's real boomer bust. He's always been like that. He gets, you know, he got 2 touchdowns or something, so that was crazy. Adam Thielen had a monster game. At 32-year-old Adam Thielen got 14 targets and something like 40 fantasy points. Just insane. He hasn't done that in years, you know, and yet somehow he gets it on this Carolina team with Adam. I'm sorry. Who was playing quarterback there? Because I know Bryce Young was out.
What's his name?
The Red Racer. The Red Racer.
Eddie Dalton.
Yeah, Dalton. Dalton was playing. I'm like, what? You know, any given Sunday, man. Any given Sunday.
The old guys promoting the old guys. What can I tell you?
Yeah. So let's talk about quarterbacks to start off the waiver wire. And I was looking at who's top 10 through the first 3 weeks of the season as far as quarterbacks go. And you know, you're never going to guess who's in the top 3. It's just like it's
Herbert.
3 completely unexpected names compared to who was drafted as
Herbert.
3,
we expected. Right? We called Herbert. He's number 1 right now. And then you got Kirk Cousins and Tua.
Yes. Yeah. Those are the top 3 right now. And again, Tua, man, I knew he was going to do good this year. I knew that guy with that offense and the way they call plays. I'm like, he's going to be really good if he can stay healthy. And he has been. Kudos to him. I didn't have the courage to take him as a QB1. I had a chance to get him on one of my teams. And I instead took Deshaun Watson because I'm like, oh, it's just 4 picks around the horn. I'll pick up Tua on my next pick. And of course, he got sniped before it came back to me. I should have taken Tua, but anyway, he's been doing great. Check it out, Jordan Love, number 4, QB4, QB4. Then you got Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. That's not surprising. Josh Allen, those 3. That's not surprising. Is the next 3. Then you got Jared Goff as like QB8. Deshaun Watson, Mac Jones, and CJ Stroud in the top 12 here. Oh, and Russell Wilson's also in there. Russell Wilson is also in the top 12 right now. So despite how bad, everyone's talking about how bad Russell Wilson is, I'm like, he's playing better than he did last year. And yeah, he's like the QB8 this so far this season. You know, you never know that looking at the scores on those teams, but he's been doing all right. And so when we're looking at, you know, waiver pickups, I'd say, you know, Mac Jones, CJ Stroud, Russell Wilson should be your targets. And these guys are not heavily owned. You know, Mac Jones is at 19%, CJ Stroud's at 20%, and Russell Wilson's at 55%. So you should be able to get all these guys off the waiver wire if you want them. And certainly if you're dealing with injuries, and there were some big injuries this week with Derek Carr, Joe Burrows may or may not be playing tonight. I don't even know yet. You know, there's a lot of injuries happening. These guys are good as backups, so I would get them.
Wild story here. I'm in a 2-quarterback league, and I ended up going robust RB. So ended up getting Jonathan Taylor. I got Gibbs. I got Byjan in that league. I got Pierce. I got a bunch of other guys, even though a couple of guys are crap in the bed. No Najee in that league. My quarterbacks are Goff and Love. So those guys are really carrying me in that.
Oh, great.
And I waited. I think I got Goff in like the 7th round while everybody went heavy on quarterbacks. So I'm telling you, you can wait on quarterbacks. I've been telling this for a while. And Jordan Love was a guy we were mentioning in 60 rounds as a backup quarterback with upside. So I knew he'd be efficient when I saw him in preseason. He's been looking really good. So that's
and it's also important to remember that he's playing right now without his 2 best weapons. He doesn't have Christian Watson and he doesn't have Aaron Jones. So his ceiling is probably even higher than it is right now. So he just fantastic. That's great. Way to go, Christian Watt. Way to go, man. He's doing great. So,
all right, moving on to running backs here. Let's talk about running backs. Again, what is a scarce position? We've had injuries to Dobbins this year. We've had Cam Akers, who is recently traded to the Vikings because Madison's not performing. So you got lack of performance with Madison. Then you got Akers coming on, but he was a healthy scratch because, again, he's probably needs time to learn the playbook. You got Achane going off here. You got injuries. You got Byjan not being utilized. You got Brian Robinson Jr. as a top 7. What is top 7 right now? Tony Pollard, as advertised, doing well. Didn't have the greatest week yesterday. When you talk about week 3, Kenneth Walker doing well. So, I mean, it's been a wild, year with running backs, with guys kind of stepping out of the woodwork. Jerome Ford stepping up with a Chubb injury. What a wild
Zach Moss.
Zach Moss
has been,
I mean, that's temporary. I don't see that being consistent.
Yeah. But for now, dude got 30 touches last week. He's just crazy volume. So
shows you Taylor, man, how much upside there is there, But again, also shows the Colts that maybe they don't need Taylor, maybe they don't need to pay him because other guys are getting it done. So it's really, really interesting, the running back position this year. Really, it is.
It is crazy. Number 1 running back on the year is 32-year-old Raheem Mostert. What? Who would have said that would be the number 1 quarterback through 3 weeks? Christian McCaffrey, number 2. Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard, 3 and 4. We got Achane at number 5, based off of just what he did. Brian Robinson, James Conner, Bijan Robinson, Kieran Williams, and Jerome Ford and Zach Moss right now.
Etienne's up there too. Etienne's doing pretty good.
Etienne is after Zach Moss right now. And
you're looking at standard. I'm looking at PPR. That's the difference. So when I got PPR,
okay.
Yeah, we're talking. Yeah, it doesn't matter. PPR. Yeah, so he went through standard numbers, but yeah, Mostert, McCaffrey, Walker, Pollard, Achane, man, like, wow, top 5 running back after 3 weeks, just in one game. Just that shows you, man, how much volume is king. Once you feed people, they're going to eat. And then when you hinder guys like Bijan, not giving them the work, it just blows my mind why teams do this. When you got so much talent, he's coming in and he's literally putting everybody on skates. Like, he is just juking out, jumping, not even jumping, but the cuts are just second to none. The vision is unbelievable. You look at like Najee, who's just running into piles, like there's no thought process. And you got like Bijan, who's got amazing vision, and you just bench him. You're just pulling him off the field. It's infuriating.
Yeah, we talked about how bad Zach Wilson is as a quarterback, but I think Desmond Ridder is also up on that list. A
not
dude
as bad, though. Not as
just doesn't
bad.
know how to utilize his targets. He doesn't
Overthrowing.
know how to utilize. He's got an elite wide receiver, an elite tight end. He doesn't know how to use them. He throws. There was some other. Who was it? Let's see here. Oh yeah, Jonnu Smith got 8 targets on Atlanta yesterday. What the hell are you doing, guys? I mean, what is going on that you'd be giving Jonnu Smith 8 targets when you got Drake London and Kyle Pitts? I just
it's wild. It's the Wild West out there with some of these suspect quarterbacks. So, but we're back on running backs. So, who are the running backs other than Devin Achane that we should be acquiring? You got the list in front of you.
Yeah, well, Devin Achane obviously is the number 1 pickup of the week. That's the guy you got to get on your team. Other guys, again, these are surprising names, man. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. 15 attempts and a target. That's the same volume that Pacheco got yesterday. They're at a 50-50 split right now in that backfield.
Fool's gold here.
Zeke Elliott, 16 attempts plus a target.
And I told you, you kept saying you were not worried about Zeke Elliott. I told you he's going to be a pest for all those Stevenson owners that went high on him. I told you Zeke is good enough to hoard that volume, and he is.
I don't know. I mean, last week he didn't play at all, right? You know, I mean, he was like, he got like 0. I mean, it's just very schizo. Elijah Mitchell, 11 attempts, 3 targets. So those are the 4 running backs I'd be looking to add this week. If you're needing help, I mean, that volume on all these guys is pretty good, you know, and, hopefully we'll see Elijah get some more usage going forward. He didn't get utilized a whole lot in the first 2 weeks, but obviously did in this past week. So,
running backs, that's what I'm saying. Do not be afraid to go robust, add that depth on that position, because you see the injuries to Chubb, to Dobbins, to what happened in Cam Akers, the lack of performance of guys like Najee Harris. You're seeing this stuff, so you really want to be, you need depth at this position, bottom line.
Yeah, and you want to know also, man, speaking of Chubb, the fact that he only tore his MCL that injury is unbelievable. I mean, I thought he had completely they were talking about, when that happens that, because there's an artery and there's a nerve that goes through there, and it might require immediate surgery to save the leg. That's what they thought, how serious the injury was at first. And it turns out certainly a best case scenario for Nick Chubb, for recovery. But geez, I mean, would you take a chance on him next year? I just don't think I could on a 28-year-old guy coming off of an MCL tear. I mean, it just seems like something that probably not a great idea.
No chance. So, it did look catastrophic. That's why I was concerned, because it did look career ending, not just season ending. The way.
Absolutely. So
good point there.
So all right, so let's go on to wide receivers, man. So number 1 wide receiver, Tyreek Hill. I got him in a couple of leagues. I'm happy that I got him. Keenan Allen, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams had a monster game yesterday. Deebo Samuel, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen. There's Adam Thielen's there because of, pretty much a lot of but he's actually been getting pretty good volume every week. Tank Dell. Top 10, man. Tank Dell.
And top 6 this week. Top 6 this week, excluding the Monday night games.
Yeah. We haven't done the Monday night games. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mike Evans, and Michael Pittman. So there you go. So, but Tank Dell, man, how about that? That's pretty sweet. Pretty nice.
Another guy that's been a complete sleeper that I've been starting quietly, that he's been doing pretty well for me, is Cortland Sutton, finishing 11th after Sunday's game in fantasy points, 19.1. So it seems to me, again, looking at the past couple weeks of Judy being back, that the Sutton is the one there. He is out targeting Judy. He's out touchdowning Judy. Like, he's the man right now. He seems to be like a clutch guy for Russell Wilson, even though Russell Wilson's not doing much. So Cortland Sutton.
Well, Russell Wilson's the QB8. Yeah, he's doing okay. He's doing all right. But I know. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, it's a contract year. Jerry Jeudy, what are you gonna do, man? Are you, what are you playing for? You got to play better.
And this proves, I want to debunk this completely. It proves that rankings are completely useless, because Tank Dell was ranked 108th amongst wide receivers. I want to emphasize this point here, Jim, that this is why 16 rounds and 60 round plus tool are the new, I don't know what you want to say, the Bible, the truth, the
standard.
Standard is the word I'm trying to find to fantasy sports, because the rankings don't help. Tank Dell was 108th. What does that tell you? It tells you that they don't seek the talent. They're simply copying and pasting. So this is such an important point that I want to hammer home here. And I'm actually going to mark this as a timestamp to come to this part of the video. The most important, crucial point, that rankings don't work. Tank Dell is a primary example. Devin Achane, a primary example. Jordan Love, a primary example. Sam Laporta, a primary example. And I can go on and on, that you have to search for the gold. It's not going to be laid out for you in the rankings. Bottom line, I had to get that out of the system here, Jim. I had to really get it out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. So waiver wire, obviously, number 1 receiver waiver wire pickups got to be Adam Thielen, man. The dude's getting monster volume, and he is top 12 wide receiver right now. So yeah, wait a minute, hold on here. I had his ownership up a second ago. He just is not widely held. Where the heck is he?
Adam Thielen's a guy that lost his job to the Vikings wide receiver Jefferson. By the way, Jefferson was a little banged up on a play. It looked like a cramp. You can see the people in the stands.
Yeah, but I think he came back out and he was fine. He was fine. Yeah, Adam Thielen only 47% rostered. So, you got a 50-50 shot that he's going to be available on your waiver wire. So
Yeah,
definitely
absolutely.
get him. Jacoby Myers came back from
Jacoby,
his
yeah.
injury and 12 targets, which is outstanding. That is fantastic. He also did really good in week 1. He didn't play last week, but so when he's playing, he's getting good volume. So that's good. Josh Downs of the Indianapolis Colts, 12 targets. DJ Chark, 11 targets. Tank Dell is still only, where is he?
He is so good. He is
31% rostered. Get
Wow.
this guy on your team. Get him. If he's on your waiver wire, get this guy. 7 targets this past week. Rashee Rice got 7 targets. That was good to see. That's nice to see that he's earning some more work. Josh Palmer of the Chargers got 7 targets, and Alec Pierce of the Indianapolis Colts also got 7 targets. So,
but I want to say, I think this is an opportunity for Quentin Johnson, because I told you to draft Quentin Johnson. He has not looked good at all because he's not getting the ball. Now
he's not getting anything.
As soon as an injury to Mike Williams happens, which it will, and Keenan Allen, which I still think Keenan Allen's going to go down this year, Quentin Johnson is going to thrive. So make sure Quentin Johnson is on your rosters now, and they should be starting him on every single down. He is better than Palmer, and he is better than Allen. He just needs to get on the field. He needs to get that volume. He's not getting the volume, and that's the problem. He's young, he's dynamic, he's explosive, and he's a first-round pick. Keenan Allen is not. He is old, and he is one hit away from going down the exact same way Mike Williams. These guys have proven it year over year that they get hurt, and it's Quentin Johnson time. So make sure you do get Quentin Johnson. I like him over Palmer. Some people are saying Palmer because of the volume they've seen, but you don't invest a first-round pick in a guy to just bench him. That's my thorough advice on this. But again,
that's true. But we got to see him starting to form more of a rapport with Justin Herbert, and that's what we haven't seen yet. I mean,
it's happening.
Just the fact that he's 4th on the depth chart behind Josh Palmer right now, he's got to step up. He has got to prove to Justin Herbert that he is worth that first-round pick, and he hasn't done it so far. So hopefully
he's got to get time now. He will have time. Williams is gone. He's going to slide right in there now. You don't bench a guy in the first round. That's it. That you drafted in the first round. We'll see.
Yeah, but there are first-round bust wide receivers. They happen. So, but we're always hoping for the best. But still, good to see Tank Dell, Rashee Rice, coming on. Even Josh Downs. These are young guys. They are young, developing, ascending players. So there's a lot of nice options on the waiver wire for wide receiver this week. So,
all right, let's move on to tight end here.
Oh yeah, okay. So hold on here. So tight end. Hold on, I'm going to pull up the top 10.
People are saying that they picked up Laporta last week off waiver. This guy should have been drafted on all your teams. What part of he should be on your teams don't you understand? And I have people in my Patreon group asking me, should I start Laporta? Laporta is a start every single week.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's an auto start.
It's not a question. I told him this. Yeah. I posted it. I'm like, do we start Laporta? I'm like, Laporta is a tight end 1. Again, I see this guy finishing ahead of Kelsey this year potentially. Like, he's that good. Yeah.
And so I am on, let's see here. I am Laporta right now, tight end 2 on the year so far. Tight end 2. TJ Hawkinson is the number 1. Hunter Henry, then Travis Kelce is 4. Evan Ingram 5. Donald Parham of the Chargers is the 6 right now. And the thing is, the points these guys scored is like nothing. I mean, like Parham here is number 6. He scored 24 points so far this year. So it's like, I mean, when you're talking tight ends, this is what you get. George Kittle, Darren Waller, Freiermuth, Mark Andrews, and then Jake Ferguson kind of rounded out the top 10 there.
He should have been a 16-rounder. We should have pushed Ferguson a bit more. He's number 6 in targets with 18 right now. So Ferguson is getting it done, man. He really is.
Yeah. So, Ferguson, again, is a guy that you can get off the waiver wire right now. He is 41% rostered. So he's one that has a good opportunity to be there. How about Luke Musgrave?
Yeah, he's getting
Green
volume.
Bay Packers, 8 targets for him. Gerald Everett got 6 targets. So all these guys relatively easy to get. Their ownership levels are not high. And, the tight end position is just such garbage for volume. There's just not any volume. There's not any points here. I mean, it's just kind of embarrassing how low it is. But Laporta is great. Keep starting him.
Absolutely. So there you have it. I mean, those are your waiver wires, your highs and lows. We covered a lot here for you, but just a wild week. We got a couple of games tonight here. Who's playing? We got who's playing tonight?
Well, we got Cincinnati playing. Who the heck is playing tonight? That's a good question.
I know Cincinnati is playing. I got to pull it up here. I'm way out because I'm just so focused on what we were doing here today. I got ourselves here in a funk here. Where is the matchups? My phone isn't even pulling up the matchups.
Okay, so we got the Eagles at Tampa Bay.
There it is.
And we've got Cincinnati against the Rams. I think the Rams are going to pull the upset tonight, man. They're playing fantastic right now. And like I said, Joe Burrow's probably not playing tonight. So, yikes.
Yeah. Buccaneers, Evans, look for him. Look for Tutu. We talked about this. We did a whole preview show on this. So make sure you guys go back and check that out. We talk about these matchups. So, yeah, there you have it. I mean, there might be some waiver wire wonders here with these matchups, but I think kind of we've seen these guys emerge. The rookies there have emerged on these teams. We kind of see who they are. So, yeah, man, I think I'm winning in this one league. I'm up 30 points. I'm playing against Jamar Chase tonight. So I'm hoping Jamar Chase has a bad week this week. Maybe keep him under 30 points, and I'm good in this one league.
Come on, throw me a bone, man. I got Jamar Chase on a couple of teams, man. I need him to do something. I'm not expecting much.
29
There's
points.
no Burrow. I'm not expecting much, so I think you definitely got the advantage there. But anyway, so that's it, guys.
Waiver wire.
Keep improving that team every single week. Keep improving it. Grab some of these waiver wires and keep grinding. And it's only week 3. We got lots of time.
Lots of time, guys. Stay sharp on the wire. Subscribe. Join the Patreon group, patreon.com/FFCounselor. Linked it below for direct access. And we are out. Thanks, Jim. Talk soon, guys.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.